Hey everyone, my name is Parush, and in this new episode of the Long Live Cinema Show, I got the chance to speak to Prerna Saigal, who is primarily a film editor, but she has also worked as an assistant director for the film Lunchbox. When it comes to film editing, her recent venture was Jigra, and before that, she has edited projects like Mard Ko Dard Nahi Hota, Kathal, Dr. G, Paglet, Mrs., which is coming next year, and the TV series Gyara Gyara, to name a few. This is again a very interesting and a very informative conversation about film editing. We discussed a lot about the editing of Jigra, which I feel has been done really well. Some of the editing choices are very good and they add more to the emotional experience of the film. We also spoke in length about how an editor functions while creating a project, while collaborating for a project, how there should always be a balance between not being too self-indulgent and staying true to the story, staying true to the vision of the story, and following the director's vision above everything else. It is again a wonderful conversation, and I'm so glad specifically for how Prerna made me feel so comfortable during this chat. So thank you so much, Prerna, and I'm sure that you also are going to have a great time listening to this podcast. So without any further delay, let's sit back, relax, and start the show. So, firstly, again, congratulations for Jigra. I am so happy that I saw this in theaters, and I feel sad for those who did not watch this in theaters and they want this to be out on OTT. I'm saying it like that because this is a film that, again, just like a lot of other films, deserves to be experienced in theaters. And like I just mentioned, the way this film has been assembled, the way this film has been edited, especially, I was like, yeah, what if I get this opportunity to talk to Prerna? And here we are. So I'm thank you so like very grateful to you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Prerna.
I like to thank you too. Thank you for watching it in theaters. Thank you for watching Jigras in theaters because that is how it should be watched. And that is how you will enjoy it, feel the emotions and the joyride that it is. And thank you for this
Thank
opportunity.
you. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much.
Looking forward to this discussion.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Firstly, I just want to begin with the fact that I loved the match cuts. I absolutely adored the match cuts because, you know, and I'll come to this. Like right now, there are a lot of discussions going on in terms of how our films can have more creativity, how we can bring that ingeniousness, if that is a word, something new in our stories. Because वही है ना कि अरे हॉलीवुड वाले तो ये करते हैं, बाहर के लोग तो वो करते हैं, इंडियन सिनेमा क्या कर रहा है. And when you see films like Jigra, when you see such efforts being taken to present the story in a certain way, so you do feel great about it. And which is why I was like, I have to ask you about the match cuts. So there are three match cuts that I have noticed, and you can please let me know if I'm right or wrong. So there is one is the cut on the cigar and that firework.
Hmm.
Again,
Hmm.
perfect, perfect. And there is that top down shot of the city, and then it just
Yeah.
switches to some kind of a mat.
The mat.
Yes,
Yeah.
that has this. And I also saw notice that you also did some match cuts with dialogues. So I would love to know from you about this inclination to match cuts. I'm not saying that it is not doing anything. Of course, it is enhancing the overall story. But can you take me to the days, that time when you you guys were thinking about the film, and when the rushes as in the footage, guys, the short footage, once it started coming in, and did you already have this thing ki, did you had like a close collaboration with the cinematographer ki ha, you should do it this way, let's do it this way, because in the edit it will look this certain way because we will use a match cut. So was that that a discussion that went in before you actually did, or was it like an impromptu decision?
So the only Swapnil is a good friend, and we do talk. We don't talk that much. Swapnil and I are connected through Vasan. So everything that is happening is actually we are pretty much following his vision, and this match cut was also his idea. So it was there, and we had this footage, and we had put it together. So he wanted it to be from the cigar. The thing I added was the dissolve with which it comes out. So you have to listen to what the director wants and then you make it happen. So this match cut wasn't there on the script. It wasn't decided. It was just that when we were going through the rushes and we saw it. Sometimes that's what, when people say that rushes talk to you, keep watching the rushes. The answers are there. So these are the magical things that come out, and that is what makes the whole process interesting. As you know, मतलब अभी मैं बोली चुकी हूँ, मेरे को ऑर्गेनिक चीजों का बहुत शौक है, मतलब जो आ रहा है वो देखो, like मतलब I don't want to sound like I'm a very I'm not overconfident, but I generally read the script only once. And the reason behind reading that is so that when the footage comes, then I can understand. Because when you read, I'll imagine another kind of film, which is also okay, which is also way, no problem. But sometimes, with the footage that Vasan sends you or what Swapnil shoots, it's better to go with the flow. It's so much fun. And, the takes are different. There are so many options. There are so many things you can try. So it's good to be a little fluid and not rigid. So ये मैच कट वहां से आते हैं, ये मैच कट वहां से आता है. एंड मैट वाला मैच कट का ये था कि वी वर लुकिंग फॉर अ ट्रांजिशन टू कम फ्रॉम, मतलब नॉट, वी वर नॉट स्पीकिंग अबाउट इट, बट वी ऑल न्यू कि वहां से मतलब हम लोग आ रहे हैं, फ्लाइट से आने वाले हैं, हाउ डू वी कम इन. वी हैड अनदर सीन ऑल टुगेदर, वो सीन हट गया. Then this is another footage that is there. So just to make it like a smooth flowing thing, it over discussions it came out. So nothing was planned. It was all done to serve the story, to make the flow of the story much smoother. And if people like it, it's great. It was only कि मतलब मजा आए लोगों को देखने में कि हम इंडिया से आ गए हांची दाओ, but
Right.
through this
That is
process.
there. And the way you,
And the other
yeah.
match card where you're talking about, I
So
don't remember.
the cigar,
Which one?
it was cigar and the
Cigar.
firework.
Yeah, yeah.
Then there is the top down of the city.
वहाँ पे वहाँ पे डायरेक्टेड बाय वासन बाला आना था, बट हमारा हुआ नहीं.
Acha. Okay. Like the way you described this entire usage, I think that is the basic definition and the understanding of using a transition. Like you said कि हमने तो वहाँ पे एक dissolve लगाया, but the way you said कि okay we are placing these two footages together in order to, जैसे किताबों में होता है ना कि तीसरा emotion आपको बनाना है इससे. So I think that is the
Yes.
motivation or the idea behind using a transition. Because अभी तो हम, I'm sure you must have seen on social media, there are so many videos where
Yeah.
I think that expression just says it all.
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
I'll tell you what. I love doodling,
Okay.
okay? So when I'm sitting idle, I keep doodling. So what I treat these reels and all are like doodles. So I have my daughter. She's always my actress. And I'm always editing reels. Like, I love it. It's my doodle. It keeps my mind busy. So nothing is wrong. Nothing is right. Keep trying. Anything can come out of anywhere. So, matlab, don't belittle anything. सब अच्छा ही है.
नहीं,
सब बढ़िया है.
that is great. But what I was trying to also say that right now, you see this barrage of reels or content in general, how they like to call it, that has so much of transitions and कि आप भूल जाते हो कि what is the topic. Sure, there is a visual representation of that and you want attention span वाली भी चीज़ है, which we'll just talk about. But sometimes I feel, and again, I'm guessing that overuse भी है. Films maybe I'm sure when you are editing a story, you always avoid overusage, right?
In fact, Jigra is my only film that I've done till now where I've used dissolves so much. I've never used dissolves. I'm a cut person. I would rather give a hard cut and, get out of the scene and, give an impact. But in this film, it was like the whole scene in which Satya meets her brother for the first time, the phone, the Tenu Sang, the finger moment. Those shots were calling for dissolves. Like, I had to put dissolves. There was no other option. So, I think that was a magic, like, you feel like. So, put it when you feel like. मतलब overuse, I agree, नहीं होना चाहिए. मतलब उससे कुछ फायदा नहीं है. That's not how you see life. You see life in blinks, right? You see life in cuts. So, that is real.
Right. Absolutely. And एक चीज, like when I heard the song फूलों का तारों का for the first time in the teaser. Firstly, I would like to say that right now we are living in a time when nostalgia bait is happening a lot when it comes to reusing old songs. But after a long time, I heard a song that actually amplifies the emotion associated with the original song. And of course, kudos to Varun Grover sir and Achint and everyone who worked in the music department. And, I swear when I heard it for the first time, I was excited to see in the theater कि ये कहाँ पे use होगा, which is that point where you will introduce this music because it is such a powerful track. And right now in the film where it is used, it feels just like, yes, that is where it should have been. uh, I want to understand if, like, what were the discussions around, were there any specific discussions around where we are going to place this particular song at what point in the film, because this song has like a pivotal impact in the film because it is, ultimately determining and solidifying and displaying the relationship of Satya and her brother. So did you have any discussions regarding कि हम ये गाना कहाँ प्लेस करने वाले हैं?
So we were very aware that the song is very popular. You know, any marriage, भाई को गाना है तो वही फूलों का तारों का गाएगा and विदाई में रोना हो जाएगा. So you have to make sure that this song has to be used well. And Vasan is a genius when it comes to using songs because he loves it. And even in his daily life, he's playing music and it's always there. So we were very sure. So the first time, I don't know if you've noticed or not, it plays in the same scene which is there in the teaser. It comes in like a background music, like an ambience music. First there is a piano or something playing behind, and then that same instrument turns into the Fulo Ka Taro Ka music. It's there, and then eventually the whole fight sequence where the lyrics are there. So we did have a lot of discussion कि overuse नहीं होना चाहिए, of course. And we were not saying these words, but we were aware of it. You cannot. It's something that you have to. It's a precious song. It's going to bring the emotion, so you have to use it well. So that kind of a discussion was definitely there. So first scene though was of course with Bhatia, where she's explaining her situation, and then when she actually does something which is like, I'm sure people have seen it. It's the Muthu
Right.
fight, the tree fight where it happens, and the whole
Of
climax now.
course. Were there any other moments where you thought कि हाँ हम ये use कर सकते हैं, but then you ended up using where it is used right now?
No, not really. We thought of these two places only. In fact, it is earlier the climax, on the truck climax, we did not have this song, but it was added
Okay.
further in the BGM.
Okay.
We had some other song, some other reference which was supposed to be something else, but this felt better because kid's voice came in and then it was Vedant's voice.
Right.
Earlier it wasn't that long; it was shorter.
Okay. And when that car, like when Satya, is driving that car, and when she, jumps and वो एकदम से जाके गेट तोड़ देती है with the car, so you notice a lot of cuts there. So was it like a choice from the beginning, or did it came in because maybe the action scene was not shot that much with that much of footage? Because I wanted to understand कि यहाँ पे शायद it's a very, again, the car, the super slow motion, it's complementing it very well, but कहीं कहीं पे वो लग रहा है कि शायद थोड़े से cuts यहाँ ज्यादा हो गए. So did you guys wanted to do this कि नहीं हम?
Yes, it was supposed. Yeah, it's supposed to be stylized. Like there were 2-3 moments in the climax while preparing. It was that this place is going to be stylized. Like the entry of Satya will be stylized. Satya coming down the ridge will be stylized. Them jumping will be stylized. So उसमें तो fast cuts जितने हो सकते थे, fast, slow, ramping, we had to do it. And ये especially for this fire sequence in which the car comes through the fire, it was a very very important moment. तो उसके अंदर तो we were planning to do all of that, and I don't know about cuts. मतलब I was going जो feel हो रहा था. If it felt more, तो I'm sorry, but yeah, I just did it because it felt right.
Right, absolutely, yeah.
I wanted to see कि यहाँ पे क्या हुआ, वहाँ पे क्या. It was just, sometimes you are in a trance and you're just cutting and you don't. I wasn't thinking I'm putting cuts. I was just, this is how it should be. This is what I want to see, and this is what people will enjoy. Yeah. So I have a very simple process. I don't think too much. Whatever is happening, I just try and do it, and then we have like a lot of feedbacks, and then see.
Right. I'm not saying that it looked bad, but I just thought कि
No, it's fine.
I'm not saying that it looked.
I love it. I love it.
No. I'm not saying that it looked bad. It's just that
Yeah.
जैसे आप सुपर स्लो मोशन में आप जैसे देखते हैं चीजें, जैसे if you take example of मर्द को दर्द नहीं होता, to which we will come later in this conversation, there are moments where you are giving that stay कि हाँ अगर वो एक किक आ रही है then आ रही है, and then जो आप शायद उसे रैम्पिंग बोलते हैं, तो फिर आपने वहां किया. तो जब ये कार वाला सीक्वेंस हुआ ना, देन आई थॉट कि अच्छा चलो ठीक है, ओके, बट बिकॉज देन बाय दैट टाइम आई वाज वेरी मच इन्वेस्टेड इन द क्लाइमैक्स कि हाँ यार, लेट्स सी हाउ विल द
Yeah.
रेस्क्यू हैपन. तो दैट्स व्हाई आई वांटेड टू आस्क
Yeah,
यू.
because we wanted to highlight it. In fact, मतलब ये अंदर घुस गई
राइट.
है, अब बहन आ गई है, अब तुम देखो, अब तुम बचो टाइप ऐसा,
राइट.
मतलब अब तुम बचो नहीं, मतलब इट्स या नाउ शी इज देयर, नाउ शी इज मतलब आग पार करके आई है, सो इट हैड टू बी हाईलाइटेड एंड people should take notice of it, and hence you do these things to make an impact.
Right, right, absolutely. I just mentioned about social media and the overusage of transitions, and I'm sure right now this is something again which is very rampant, that the attention spans have declined to such an extent that if let's say you, like अगर हम फिल्म्स की ही बात करें तो आप, आई एम श्योर आपने बहुत सुना होगा दैट पीपल से कि यार फिल्म बड़ी स्लो है, या फिल्म बड़ी जल्दी जल्दी
Hmm.
चल रही है. अरे भाई फिल्म तो भाग रही है.
Hmm.
समटाइम्स यू हेयर पीपल से दैट.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
do you keep this in mind that okay, how the audience, like the audience shouldn't get bored here? We want to stretch this moment, but maybe we should add some kind of a transition or some kind of cuts so that yes, the emotion is conveyed, but audience bore na
Hmm.
ho jaye. Does that thought come to your head?
Not on the first cut. In the first cut, it has to be the
Okay.
script. It does come in because you have to be, you cannot work in like closed rooms. You have to be aware of it. But having said that, there can be conscious decisions of keeping a certain scene longer than the others, even if it is a little uncomfortable for other people. Because you know, if it is straight line and if you're catering to what they want non-stop, it will be boring. It's okay. It's okay for the audience to get bored. I mean, I'm going to be like, yeah, people are going to just say something to me, but it's okay for the audience to get bored sometimes to enjoy the thrill that is going to come in later. I think, and that's in Jigra we did try that. But it is, if it is a little tricky, but we got a chance to do it, and we should do it. Na? Why not try it? If you don't try it, you will not know. So, like, if it is all flat and it is like, हाँ ये fast हो गया, यहाँ पे उसने पकड़ लिया उसको, it's boring. Sometimes give it the time. Sometimes let her have bath. Let her enter. Let her see what she's seeing. Let the camera be on her face. Let us see the scene through her face, and then get to the other person. It's okay to bore the audience sometimes. I'm okay with that. It's a risk, and you should use it very, very sparingly, and you should be very conscious about it. But you should take it as an editor. वही तो हम लोग तो कंडक्टर्स ही है ना, मतलब म्यूजिकल इंस्ट्रूमेंट ये ऐसे करेंगे तो I think we should, and simplify it, and you know, make sure it's fun. It's not it, bore is a wrong word. मतलब drag bore, कई लोग कहते हैं ठहराव आ गया, ये आ गया, वो आ गया, but I think it's not a bad thing. मतलब ठीक है, ठहराव आया, आपने महसूस किया वो
Correct.
emotion, and then you move
Correct.
forward. It's how you take the feedback.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely. Right.
and you have to cater to everybody. Somebody will find that therav boring, somebody will find it poetic.
Yeah.
So you have to cater to both.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's there. Because, and again, my audience will kill me for this, but I always come back to mentioning Mad Max Fury Road, and now we also have Furiosa. Like, I heard people saying ki Furiosa is slower than Fury Road. I was like, okay, why do you say that? यार वो हो नहीं रहा है यार, जल्दी जल्दी नहीं हो रहा है. I'm कहीं, why do you need jaldi? I mean, why do you need that jaldi of things happening? वो चीज है. And what you just explained, I think I was actually about to ask you that what is the true meaning of editing from your perspective, and I think you have explained it beautifully, that it is all about making the audience feel something at a certain point of the story. And do you want to elaborate on that answer a bit, like the true
Um,
meaning of editing from your perspective, film editing, when you are editing a story?
yeah, just to see, there's a story that is written, right, and everybody's like this. That's why we're on board, and it has to be presented in a way which is the best, in the most exciting way possible. By exciting, I don't mean fast cuts. I mean that by exciting, I mean it should be engaging. People should be engaged from point one. मतलब like if the father का suicide हुआ, तो काफी बारी आया कि we need more reactions, we need this, we need that. But maybe it's her dream. We don't want to show more. She was cut through it. She was taken out of the dream and stuff like that. But ऐसा कुछ logic नहीं है. मैं ऐसे ही बना रही हूँ अभी. But मैं वैसे बता रही हूँ. Like it could be that, right? So we should not. sometimes we have to give audience a little half baked stuff so that they find it later, and that makes them feel engaged and they enjoy it. Like there's a small example of that, the person who switches off when the blackout happens in the city. His wife and daughter are kidnapped, and it happens in some other language people don't understand till a certain point of time, till he says, ab mere बीवी बच्चों को release करो. But that's okay to hold on to that information. It doesn't take you away from the story. It is something nice, and they eventually get to know the answer. You don't have to give the answer there and then. Enjoy that moment. Enjoy the bits in which you can hold back information. Enjoy the bits where you can tell it in a different way. And that's why we go front, back, and we tell the same story. The story is same, it. But how we tell it, मतलब वो उसमें मजा है. I don't know whether it's right or wrong, but for me it's very important to enjoy the process, and then then it will be fun. If I can tell the same story in 3 ways and then my director has a choice, I would love it. Eventually it's his vision and he will choose and whatever, but yeah. So ठहराव से डर नहीं लगना चाहिए. And in fact I think the longer versions of the films people love it more because they get the answer. They get the answers. In fact हम लोग जब टाइट करते हैं हम काफी आंसर्स तो हटा ही देते हैं. Many important angles which people feel is not important but are there. Like my favorite is दिल चाहता है कि with the आकाश वाली girl who says कि हाथ में मिट्टी पकड़नी चाहिए. मतलब आज में तो सब हटा ही देंगे कि why do you need like a but I think it's one of the most beautiful scene, and we अभी भी मतलब किसी का breakup होता है तो सब दोस्त यही वाला line बोल रहे होंगे. But so that is the magic, no? And yeah, those are the choices.
Absolutely.
And I think audience enjoys it. The more you give, they will enjoy. They've paid money, they want to see.
Right. Absolutely.
But absolutely not boring them. मतलब ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए. Those choices, of course.
Yeah, it's like striking the perfect balance while also serving the story. And
Try to. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. There is one information that I'm very happy that Vasan held on to in this story, and please convey my sincere regards to him for doing that, because this one small bit, and I really liked it, that the guy who first gets into a fight with Vedang's character, and then he himself plans ki acha nahi, Ryan, correct, thank you. So Ryan, and then he says that no, I owe you one, and we will plan an escape and all that. From the beginning you see he has very good biceps, and then there is one moment where you actually show him doing push-ups. I'm like, okay, I like that, because you did not, again, like you just said, keeping the details that might not matter in the larger scheme of things, but it helps in connecting everything so well. So I really like that bit जहाँ पे आपने वो काटा नहीं कि यार नहीं इसको पुशअप करते दिखाओ. हमने शूट
हाँ, और अटक भी जाता है वो थोड़ा करते करते जब प्लेट आती है.
Exactly, अटक जाता है वो. So that's how you.
That was Ankur.
Yeah, wonderful. I really like that one bit. So again, kudos to Vasan and the entire team, and of course you. So that is there. But I, apart from match cuts, there is one thing that I have noticed predominantly in your editing style, and please correct me if I'm wrong. It is super slow motion, like what we were discussing. Like if you look at Mard Ko Dard Nahi Hota, the film, the action of the film elevates because of super slow motion. So I would love to know from you, like, do you have this certain inclination for, the fascination with super slow motion? Are there any films that you saw in, as a younger editor, and you felt like, yaar, super slow motion is so interesting, and you wanted to, incorporate?
But you're forgetting, both the films are Vasan's film. They are like his vision. He is shooting them. I'm just editing them. So, super slow motion is his. Like if you see my other films, there are no super slow motion because it's not required. But in Mard, we had fun because it was a story of a child or a person who was into martial arts. So super slow motion में, and Abhimanyu is an amazing artist. So उसका वो जो form, उसका जो poise, सबको दिखाने में super slow motion बहुत help करता था. Like even महेश सर का कोई form नहीं था, लेकिन वो जो ऐसे डंडा मारते हैं ना, उसमें कितना मजा है ना, वो ऐसे करके मारते हैं, तो वो लाइक ये सब एकदम परफेक्ट कर रहे हैं, वो सडनली बस एक डंडा मार रहे हैं, वो भी स्लो मोशन में. सो या
राइट,
so that's not a style, that is a style which is needed for, that was needed for Mard Ko Dard Nahi Hota. Slow motion is a style that is needed for Jigra, and yeah, बट ये विजन वासन का है, ये मतलब मैंने नहीं कहा कि करो,
Okay.
वो उसने किया है, मेरे पास फुटेज आया है और मैंने एडिट किया है.
Okay. Okay. Because this is something again I saw in the climax of Bombay Velvet. And again, I think that is also because like you just answered कि that is the need of the hour
या
कि हमें उस चीज को अगर
या
एक certain emotional level पे लेके जाना है तो वहां पे हाँ
हाँ. So Bombay Velvet का the whole thing in when Rosie and Johnny are lying down नीचे, and हम लोग through them we are seeing it's a one shot in which the inspector comes
right
in, inspector है जो भी, he comes in and then the final gunshot happens. So it was shot like that, it was designed like that.
mm,
And when you get it, then when you get the answers from the
right
rushes. Never try to overguess or out. But I don't feel comfortable in doing that. I would never go to the director and say कि आप ऐसे shoot करो. Let the footage come in, and if in the story I feel a gap, then I will request or explain it to him कि ये होना चाहिए. Like it's happened in Jigra. Few things which I felt they were added, or we brought it back, or in the rushes it was already there. So yeah, I don't sit on the breakdown. Well, many do,
okay
but I don't. I like to come in later when my work is there,
okay
and it's better, no, that way. I feel.
okay
Why to overstep?
right right that's there
But some people are involved, and that is also correct. Some people like to be there from the very beginning, and I know many, and it works well. But I don't know how it works for me. But I am a blank slate when I start a film. Till I get the rushes, then I know the story, and then I form. And I think I like it that way.
Hmm.
Every time I start fresh.
Right, right. Can you take us a little deeper into your process कि आपके पास जैसे rushes आ गए. So then
Hmm.
you and your team proceed with the edits, like the footage management, compilation, arranging it as per the script. Can you help us understanding it more deeply?
So one very important part is the test shoot, in which I make sure that I get a full gate open, and my associate Samrat Saha, who's been there with me, and I think without him I can't do anything, because we work in like tandem, and he makes sure the footage that comes to me has all the H code numbers, all the data that I need in the correct way, because sometimes wo beech mein aata hai na, it is really bothering, because when you're seeing the rushes and all, it's a very simple step, but it has to be done. Sometimes you get like closed gates, like bar laga hota hai, I need a full frame. So this is the first step in the test shoot. We make sure, and we also check the sound, how the sound is coming to us and stuff like that. Then when the rushes start coming in, first and foremost thing is syncing the footage day wise. And then according to the scene, this the assistant does. In Jigra it was Dhrithivan, who was brilliant. It was his first film, and I think he had put all his heart and soul into it. So he was managing the first step of it, where syncing is happening, make sure all the sound files have come in, everything is in sync, कुछ problem तो नहीं है. He used to communicate with the post production supervisor or the script supervisor, and then these synced day wise rushes are put into the scenes according to the script and according to the continuity sheet. Then Samrat comes in, and then Samrat has to make sure that all the scenes, that shots that are required, are like sometimes the first shot is shot earlier, later. So make sure all the shots of that particular scene is in that particular timeline. It's his responsibility. Everything that is related to that particular scene is there. It's not that one scene is shot in one day. It can be shot over a period of time. So those things are done, and then a rough lineup is being put. Then I am there. We generally work like together. Like one day this comes, the next day I am there, and the lineup starts. And the lineup doesn't mean anything but to make sense out of this rush that we've got. So we have enough time कि हम लोग इस पूरे footage के साथ we are familiar, and we are editing it. Not editing, it's a lineup, rush, assembly, whatever you call it, for the director to see for the first time. But this time I do make few options. Like a scene, if it is a simple linear scene, we'll have one option. But if it is something complicated, if there are two options, I'll make it, I'll keep it, and then I can show to the director कि ऐसा है, ऐसा है, ऐसा है. And then once that is done, and the director comes to the edit room, and I've been lucky to be working with directors who love editing. So हम लोग साथ साथ काम करते हैं. I think I don't know how it works when you are working in isolation. Of course, I've got this time of like about 3 months where I've worked. I know the rushes. Now I have to sit with the director. We have to talk. We have to chat. We have to work together. So then, like in this case, Vasan came in, and we made the first cut. and there was some patch shoot balance, so it was good. No, then you can, whatever is left we can always fill in, and then you start doing
Okay.
screenings, like feedback screening, and from there I sit for every screening, every possible screening that is there, and I make a lot of notes, and I do try them. I try them, चुपके से भी try करती हूँ, सामने भी try करती हूँ, सब try
Right.
करती हूँ, but I do try
Right.
them, and generally magic happens. काफी कुछ मिल जाता है, you
Right.
know, when you listen. It's very important to listen and then try it. So that is my process, and then eventually
Final render.
फिर reels, फिर edit log, and then reels, and then the technical, then that Samrat and Rithiman handle.
Right. Right.
They send it to various
Yeah.
departments.
Got it. Got it. So this is when you don't you just bring the pieces together to form a story, and as in you don't do any VFX or color grading. That is for later.
No, yeah, we don't do
Okay.
it until unless it's bothering my flow of, like, a screenings where it is bothering something, bothering the, screening. Then I correct, tweak it a
Hmm.
little, but it's good to keep the offline as offline,
Okay.
so that people know it's offline and judge the film at the offline level, and not start saying आपका music ठीक नहीं था, ये ठीक नहीं था, वो ठीक नहीं था.
Okay. So
So yeah,
offline is without the music
we,
and everything.
no, offline we generally put all the SFX, all the, so the viewing experience is complete, but the music is reference. Like, it will be from some other film or some other bank, and the SFX will not be correct. Like, gunshot can be, like, for a revolver, it can be AK-47 gunshot लगा दिया होगा by chance. मतलब we don't
Okay.
know ना. But I'm just giving a very lame
Okay.
example. But जैसे wooden door बंद हुआ है, हमने कुछ और लगा दिया है, ऐसा करते नहीं है, but हो गया हो. So those kind of things, but you get the idea कि हाँ दरवाजा बंद होगा
Right.
types. So you generally make a full experience, sound, however clean we can make the sound, we do that. But it's not complete, of course. VFX is not done. Color grade, kabhi kabhi, but we generally don't touch it.
Hmm. Is there any particular I don't know, genre, or yeah, I think I should say genre. Is there any particular genre that you like to edit? Because you have edited action, you have also edited emotional moments. So, like, should I say what is more difficult to edit? Is it an action scene or a conversation?
I think drama. I think to bring out the emotion, I find that difficult. Because उसके अंदर energy लाना, उसके अंदर emotion लाना is very, उसके लिए I need things to bring it in, like, maybe music, help of music, not giving too much cuts. मतलब वो, those decisions are tough
Right.
there. In action, you know कि cut आएगा ही, मतलब fast cut
हाँ
होगा ही,
हाँ.
mostly. But I find drama more interesting. I won't say tough, but interesting. Like, मुझे मजा आता है what I'm trying to say with that eye shift, or what I'm trying to say with that heart cut twitch, if it is coming across. There's a film called Mrs. that is going to come
Yes,
soon.
yes,
Aarti Kadav has
yes,
directed it.
yes.
So that is a film I really loved also. I love all my films, and that is also one of the films that I really love. And उसमें है मजा वैसा. And action is also fun. Action, तो when you're doing it, it's so much like everybody, like, हम लोग lunch भी fast खा रहे होते हैं. मतलब अब जाके करना है. So मतलब we are a mad bunch, but मतलब yeah, we really, you are what you're cutting.
Right.
At that day, like when you are, I remember we were crying so much. Like मैं तो रो ही रही थी, but Samrat and Rithiman भी रो रहे थे for that phone call sequence.
Okay.
That rush is so. That rush was मतलब making us cry. Vedang crying, Alia crying. We were crying with them, but it was so good. So मतलब then your mood is also a little low, and you're feeling like you want to give a call to your house,
Yeah.
call your sister.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know if I've answered. I've deviated.
No.
But yeah, my answer is, like, I enjoy drama much more.
Okay.
Action तो, because in action your edit is seen. मतलब वो होगा. You can see the edit, no? It's very cuts पे आएगा ही, punch पे cut आएगा ही. Until unless आप you're cutting with some, like, really good action people, but there'll be cuts.
Right.
So yeah, in action I know where to cut. In drama is the fun part. Like, you.
Can you elaborate that a little more? It's very interesting. With an example, maybe, of a conversation.
Oh, okay. I don't know if this is the correct example, but in Puglet, when there was this sequence in which Akansha goes to Sandhya and is talking about a blue shirt, and then she also realizes that, Astik is wearing the same blue shirt, and blue shirt मतलब उसको ही पता है, and suddenly there is doubt. So there is an intercut that happens. It was a very direct scene. It was like the ex-girlfriend comes and confronts the widow, and then wife, and so that part was becoming very long and a little boring part, as in, because um, first Akansha tells, and then we see another scene with Sandhya touching the shirt, taking it out from the almirah. So it was intercut. Both the scenes were intercut, and then the whole emotion came out. And then she wants to know more about Akansha so that she knows more about Astik. So that was a drama scene where I enjoyed cutting. Like, there are cuts. Like, you want to cut. Otherwise, in same Paglet, if you see Sandhya when she's holding onto Astik's shirt and she's crying and she's looking into the mirror, it's a very long shot. Like, many people would say, just cut it. But we held on to that one teardrop, which took very long. But we held on to it. And I feel very happy. Nobody, I don't know if they realize or not, or some people do realize it. But the music is done like so much justice to it, so that we waited till the teardrop comes. So that was an interesting decision. In Jigra, the whole end bit, the whole crying and holding on to it was fun. Like, let it be, let it breathe. That was fun. क्या बोल रही हूँ मैं, but I hope you understand.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, and even in Paglet, there is a scene in which जब अस्थि विसर्जन होता है, it was a scene in which Sandhya is very angry and she's saying कि उसकी already girlfriend है और मेरे को mourn करना पड़ रहा है because वो ये हो रहा है. And we have intercutted with अस्थि विसर्जन and her getting angry and finding उसके ashes पानी में जा रहे हैं, and that there's a गोलगप्पा thing happening. वो अस्थि गिर रहा है and गोलगप्पा मैच कट पे आ रहा है. So we were trying to, मतलब उससे कॉमेडी भी आ रहा है कि मतलब अस्थि हो रहा है, अस्थि दे रहे हैं, वहां से गोलगप्पा आ रहा है, थोड़ा it's not like on your face comedy, but it is like that is life.
Right.
अब उसको भूख लग रही है तो खाना खाएगी ना बेचारी, मतलब उसको खाना है गोलगप्पा. So मतलब bringing out that it was very nice on the script. तो काफी टाइम तक एडिट पे नहीं आ रहा था, and then we tried this तो आ गया, and that is fun part. But in action, तो you pretty much see it and it is there. No, you have to be linear most of the times. Most of the times.
ये जो आपने बात कही ना कि एक्शन में तो एडिट दिख जाता है, दैट आई एम थिंकिंग अबाउट दैट. यस, इट्स वेरी एविडेंट कि हाँ, अरे ये तो होना ही है, अनलेस इट्स ऑफ कोर्स इट्स अ सिंगल टेक दैट
हाँ, वो बात अलग है. हाँ, बट उसमें भी दिखेगा ना, उसमें कोरियोग्राफी दिखेगी.
करेक्ट. आसपास क्या हो रहा है, सराउंडिंग में क्या हो रहा है. हाँ जी,
मतलब मजे देगा, बट इट इज बट इन ड्रामा यू हैव टू बी वेरी रियल ना, मतलब ओवर द टॉप नहीं जा सकते, एंड सो इट इज फन.
राइट. सो like after so many edits on drama especially, are there like let's say if you are now given a scene, a conversation scene jahan pe drama hai, so are there any rules or principles or any like a checklist that you have formulated from your experience, or is it again like a fresh slate?
It's organic.
Okay.
So it's very important ki rushes, see it twice, thrice, and you don't cut it for 2 days also.
Okay.
Don't cut it.
Okay.
Don't cut it. Don't put the pressure on yourself. Take a break. Come back. Like, I remember my favorite, like, I really enjoyed the interrogation scene in Jigra.
Oh, yes.
It was a very, very long scene, and it was linear, and then, there are much more there. But abhi to cut gaya hai. But that was my favorite part, where how to make that exciting, because everybody knows कि वो फंसने वाला है. So how to just keep it engaging, how कैसे ऐसे keep that and cutting on. So I was having fun there. I don't know if it translated or not, but that was my fun part, apart from many more. But that was the initial one, जो it has stayed like that for very long. मतलब उसमें ज़्यादा cuts नहीं हुआ, except हमने reduce किया है length of मतलब story का, but the edit has stayed same. बाकी समय we have shuffled a lot.
Right. There is another there is another genre where I feel personally, and I would love to know your thoughts, where I feel that editing also plays a significant role, and that is horror. Like, I recently watched this film called Long Legs. I'm sure you must have heard about this film. Please do watch it if you haven't. That film, of course, you will feel ki haan, Long Legs is the name of that film. It's a director called Osgood Perkins, and he, मतलब आप देखोगे ओपनिंग फ्रेम, अरे फिंचर, लाइक पहले ही आपके मुंह से निकलेगा, बिकॉज ऑफ कोर्स इट्स अ वेरी डायरेक्ट homage to Seven and many other Fincheresque worlds. But the editing of that film, it's so well done. And that, before having this conversation, I just went back to that film and I just thought that yes, horror is maybe also another genre that requires a lot of attention on edits.
Yeah, you have to hide. You have to create so much by just hiding, holding back on information and creating. And matlab, I am very scared of horror, so I have never seen. I can't see, but it would be fun editing them. Maybe uske baad I can see. I can't see horror films, but I really enjoyed Conjuring. Matlab, it's a very old film,
Yeah.
but that was the only film I could see. Matlab, because I'm very scared of it. Movie hai. Like I can't see horror. So maybe if I edit, but I agree because edit and sound plays a very important role to make. अगर सोफा खाली है उसके पीछे आप कोई और म्यूजिक लगा दो और कोई और म्यूजिक लगा दो, सेम सोफा विल हैव डिफरेंट मीनिंग.
Correct. Absolutely.
And also the lighting and stuff like that. But that is the fun part.
Yeah.
I'm sure I would love to try if somebody.
I was about to ask you, would you love to edit a horror project?
Samrat really wants me to edit, but I am scared. So he said, "आप rushes देखोगे तो थोड़ा डर लगेगा." But yeah, I would love it.
Right, that is there. What is the maximum time that you have spent when it comes to editing a project?
I think Bombay Velvet will be the longest. I think. I think Bombay Velvet. No, Tigers maybe, but that wasn't on edit. But it was other things like from the cut till, because it was happening in bits and pieces and around the world. So Tigers took, I think, maximum time. Tigers is Imran Hashmi's film. It's on C5.
Yes. Right. Because, again, a trivia that I heard recently, that the film After Sun, and I think I've mentioned this in one of my previous podcasts as well, that After Sun को शूट होने में शायद 1 महीना ही लगा, या फिर शायद 45 days, but it took 7 months to edit. And then that film ended up becoming what it is now, and so that again gave me the thought कि नहीं यार, sometimes editing is like how it gets conveyed, वो किस तरह निकल के आएगा.
हाँ, you should spend. I think you should have time. मतलब like it is good to let the film breathe and grow, but it's not for all genres. Like some it is good. मतलब clear story है, simple story है, it's better. ज़्यादा सोचोगे it can also spoil. In some cases, I don't know which. I can't give you example. I don't know, but ऐसा होता होगा.
Yeah,
I'm guessing.
possible.
But but in edit, yes, many things happen. Like I got a very good reaction from Swapnil. Like every time he would see the cut, he would show like a thumbs up, like हाँ ठीक चल रहा है. And so you understand. Feedback session में you understand if it is working or not, and you can try different things. The same story can be told in many, like there was a section in between which was taking way too long and people were saying ये bore हो रहा है. So that was a section we were working on for like about 3-4 months, but eventually it became fine. You got वहाँ पे match cut था ना, like dialogue match cut where he says waste of time. So it was in a different format earlier, and then later this waste of time, अब पता नहीं सीक्रेट्स बाहर निकालूंगी नहीं निकालूंगी, पर पहले सब पिक्चर देख लूं फिर बताऊंगी. बट कि कैसे हम लोग वहां पहुंचे, लाइक इट्स अ फन स्टोरी. I don't know if I can say.
Off camera, please. Okay.
Yeah, I will tell you. Off camera, I will tell you.
Thank you. And
it was
you
fun.
reminded me of actually another match cut again. I think अब शायद repeat हो गया, बहुत लोग करते हैं. So again, where you are playing the background score, and then you realize that it's the officer is
चक्कू छुरियां.
नहीं वो not चक्कू छुरियां. There is another song, the background song with the dubstep background score. जब वो lawyer उसके पास आता है, कहता है बेटा देखो ऐसा है, and then he takes off the earphones and he's listening to exactly that.
No, is that the one, or is that the one जहाँ पे वो उनको वो बता रहे हैं what is Hanshida?
Yes. I think शायद
अंकुर बैक से there's a shot. उससे पहले I was thinking कि कौन ये AI generated voice चल रहा है, and then you see it's his ears,
Right.
and then he goes in for the strip search.
Yeah. I think, and then there is another moment where Vivek's character is
Where Landa is,
Landa.
where Landa
Yeah,
is
yeah,
wearing
yeah.
it. हाँ, yes,
हाँ.
yeah.
Yeah, that is also there.
वो उसमें है जब वो साइन करवाते हैं.
Yes, absolutely. That is there. Again, very good usage of that. And I actually wanted to ask you about, for those who don't know, that Prerna is married to Vasan, right? In case you were not aware of this, I would love to know from you that, firstly, of course, I'm a nobody to comment on this, but the moment I got to know that, oh, Vasan's wife is Prerna, and as in a director and editor, what an amazing relationship, because it's such a great creative relationship that you guys must be having. So I would love to know, like, how do you balance that relationship as a couple and as a colleague
We
while
don't
working?
balance it. It goes off balance. We don't balance it. It goes off balance, and we have a lot of fights. And I don't know if we'll be doing more projects together because it really takes a toll. And I think when we are in the edit room, it's more of a director editor thing, and the only difference is that it comes home, which is not right. It should not happen that way. But then we are discussing. If you're watching something, oh yes, ऐसा वो भी होता है. वो happy moments भी हैं, where you both are thinking the same thing. Even while having breakfast, you suddenly have an idea. You look at each other, and अच्छा ये जाके करना है. That is also there, which I love and I really cherish. It has happened कि मतलब उसने बोला और हम हाँ घर जाके वहाँ जाके करना है. Like even on Sundays, we just pick up the car and then go and just finish it. I generally don't work on Sundays and I don't call anybody on Sundays. But because we both are together, we can go. मतलब वैसा वो वाला है.
Right.
And so it all started in Peddlers, and I think the way we were there, fights वैसे ही हैं. We both think very differently. The way he looks at films are very different. With the way I look, I'm very free flowing, and he's also free flowing, but he loves films. मतलब उसका एक अलग ही passion है, which I can't match, and I don't wish to match.
Okay.
But I can take a lot of inspiration from that, and I'm lucky that I can see those films with him sometimes when I get time, and but he watches everything. But उनका वो अलग ही passion है, which I can't match. And the way he can talk about films, I don't. And मेरे लिए एक फिल्म एक एक्सपीरियंस है, and I can explain. I would not remember the name of the director. I will not remember the name of the film, but I will remember that scene. I will remember how I felt. I'll remember what has happened, and we would share those things. And but Jigra was one of my most toughest, personally and professionally, difficult film that I've edited. But Alia being there, it was too much fun. She's so good.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that. And yeah, because no, I was kind of thinking that maybe I should ask this or not, but thank you so much for just, yeah, because
I hope I answered.
yeah, of course. I mean, because I was just thinking that, wait, like you said, you have an idea, and then क्या ये edit हो सकता है? अच्छा, क्या हम इसको डाल सकते हैं? Can we do it? You have the person in front of you who's also your partner.
Yes.
You are collaborators for life, sure, but the nature is there.
That's amazing.
Right.
That's amazing. We've done it. Like teaser में ऐसा हुआ था. Like teaser में there was like sometimes somebody said it was a little slow या कुछ किसी का feedback आया था, and then I said let's put the basketball, and immediately we went and we put basketball, and कुछ छोटा. Sometimes he says let's try this. I'll say no, then we'll have a fight. You have to be open to it. ऐसा सब भी होता है. But it's good that we have that time in the car when we can talk, discuss, and then you just go there and you work on it. And of course, we both have each other's back. That is very important. And yeah, that comfort is also important, where you can shout at each other and then get me back. And it's difficult also, but yeah, it is there.
Right. Absolutely. You mentioned about like there are there any particular films that you remember specifically for editing where you were absolutely taken aback by how they were edited, and they have again you remember them so much so that you feel like कि यार ऐसा कुछ करना है कभी?
So I don't remember. मैं edit में मैं बहुत simple इंसान हूँ. मतलब मैं ज़्यादा I don't get into those things. But I remember Casino mein the जो pacey scene in which he's talking like this and there's a white cat. ये सब अब cut words मैं नहीं बोल रही, but the way it comes out मतलब उतना difficult सिनेरियो में मुझे इतनी हंसी आई थी जब वैसे वो वॉकी से छुप छुप के बात कर रहा है, and that scene really like this that I watched during Bombay Velvet के समय में I was seeing, so that hit me. And you know Sonderberg, that's how
Yeah,
you
Soderbergh.
pronounce his name.
Soderbergh. Yeah.
Yeah, Sonderberg. And his films, like the way he uses sound transitions, the way he medical side effects, एक कुछ side effect करके एक film थी,
Yes.
Catherine Zeta-Jones was there. It's not a very popular film, but it was one of those films I happened to see and I enjoyed it. And there's a Russian film called Major I had seen in Cannes, which was like 3 shots and you're into the film. And मतलब ऐसे white shot है and light जलती है, phone आता है, there's an accident, the next shot is POV of the road and there's an accident and the story is about that accident. I remember that left an impact. I said इतना जल्दी you get into this film, like, and it was simple 3 stable cuts. वो सब याद रहता है. अब मैं उसे कट की तरह बोलूंगी तो it becomes, it's not fair on the film. I should not be seeing the cuts. But what I felt during those films, I felt like Amor, I felt like वो जो stays थे वो आपको थका देते हैं. मतलब वही मेरा एग्जांपल जब मुझे कोई बोलते, but then they say कि yeah, it's, but हम लोग, मुझे वो अच्छा लगा था कि वो बैठे हुए हैं तो मतलब ब्रेकफास्ट खा रहा है बट वो घर के अंदर है, वही आपको फील करा रहे हैं ना वो. So those kind of things, I'm not using big names because I would not be able to pronounce their names also. But these are the feeling that these films left me with. And that's beautiful. And that's what I love. Like even watching Monsoon Wedding, in which in the climax when she actually runs into the rain, Shifali Shah. मतलब आपको you feel free and liberated. अब उसमें मैं कट का क्या बोलूं? I would talk about what I felt. You know, people do study and analyze, and I really respect them for that. But I can't. I watch a film, when I go there, I forget whether I'm an editor or not. Until unless they're calling me for a feedback, until unless they want me to say something, I तभी भी नहीं कहूँगी. तभी भी मैं I'll say what I feel. So yeah. But there are many films that I like. I love Monica, oh my darling. मतलब I think it did not get, like, I did not edit it. Atanu Mukherjee edited it. I think it's one of the best film. It makes you laugh, it makes you cry. मतलब पागलपन थी वो film. अब मैं उसके edit के बारे में क्या कहूँ? It is brilliant. That's why the film is brilliant.
And it was every cinephile's wet dream for everything that Vasan did. Yeah. सही में.
मतलब कुछ भी हो रहा है उसमें और उसको आप मतलब मजा भी आ रहा है, तो यानी कि वो तो बहुत बड़ा अचीवमेंट है एडिटर के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से ना. But by saying it's a good edit, you are belittling the editor. But Atanu was phenomenal in it. I think it was brilliant. वो जो येलो कपड़े से न्यूज रीडर निकल के आता है, मैं तो पेट पकड़ पकड़ के हंस रही थी. So yeah.
Right.
It's brilliant.
Yeah. The way you described about this Russian film, like how 3 shots in and you are in the film. And इससे पहले भी आपने
Yeah,
जो
Major.
right, thank you. Do you like this kind of efficiency of storytelling that comes with edit?
Yes, I love it. An economy of cuts is something that I would always fight for, and I would never give an extra. I do not like to like expression play curve cut until unless it's needed for the story. If it helps, why not? Please. Otherwise, if it can stay, let's do it, because you know that's how you see the world, and that is something like I believe कि वैसा ही फिल्म होना चाहिए. But वो बहुत idealistic है, ऐसा होता नहीं है. But मुझे ऐसा लगता है my first cuts are always like थोड़ा ये थोड़ा stay and then you know you see and then you put music kicks in and stuff like that. But yeah, I think cuts are very important and you should use it smartly.
Right. And when you are, let's say when you are in the edit process, so do you get, I don't want to use this word incorrectly, but I'm using it very mindfully, that do you get bothered by the stakeholders or people who are, let's just call them makers of the film, like कि okay, we are catering to a certain audience and you know अगर film 2 घंटा 20 2 घंटा 30 की हो, या फिर यार कोशिश कर सकते हैं कि 2 घंटे 10 में ही ख़त्म हो जाए. डू यू कम अक्रॉस दीज कॉन्वर्जेशंस वेयर यू आर मे बी
No,
pushed?
it's a very fair question because when we are doing theatricals, उससे बहुत फर्क पड़ता है. The amount of shows that you get, and as an editor, it is my job to put across the story in that particular time frame. But वो particular time frame क्या होना चाहिए is like, it should not be like rigid, है ना? And mostly some filmmakers, the makers as you call them, are not rigid. They are talking sense, they are talking business. And I have to understand that I cannot be in my bubble and say, okay, no, we can't cut it. Of course, if there has to be a discussion. It's not like be all and end all from both sides. So we have to be open, like whatever said and done, it has to go in the market, it has to be viewed by audience, it has to be liked by audience. So you cannot just stay in a, but of course there is a discussion. It is not like कि यही करना है वही होना चाहिए, वैसा तो नहीं होता है. Bothered, not much. I only get bothered when certain aspects of, like, there's some comprehension issue, or when it is clear in some things and then something more has to be added. But that is also not bothered. It is something that is clear to me because I've been seeing the rushes. What if it's genuinely a problem? So you have to cater to it, see it, and then. So in edit, you have to try everything before you say, no, I'm not going to do it, or I'm nobody to say I'm not going to do it. I have to do it. You have to try, and there's going to be a conversation. Nobody is like the final. Oh, तो होगा ही नहीं. जो final तो director का ही है. So yeah, but it doesn't bother me. No.
Okay.
I know what I've signed up for.
All right.
So it's good to be aware.
Right. The reason why I also ask this question is because now you see so many director's cuts. Like after the Justice League 4 hour cut, and then there are ये आपका रिडली स्कॉट की जो फिल्म आई नेपोलियन, उसका एक कट है कि नहीं यार, एक 4 घंटे का कट है. एंड देन ऑफ कोर्स यू हैड फिल्म्स लाइक एनिमल वेयर पीपल वर बैम्बूजल्ड कि ओ इट्स अ 3 hour 15 minute फिल्म, विच इज़ ग्रेट बिकॉज मुझे लगता है कि यार ठीक है, आपको 100 मिनट की फिल्में शायद पसंद है, 2 घंटे की पसंद है, बट देन देयर आर फिल्म्स लाइक 3 hour फिल्म्स ऑल्सो. बिकॉज अभी A24 की ब्रूटलिस्ट आएगी जो 3.5 घंटे की है. एवरी वन विल कॉल इट कि ओ वाओ 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 क्या बात है. बट द मोमेंट यू मेक समथिंग ऑफ 3 hours टू लॉन्ग मैन, इट्स लाइक क्या यार, ये ऐसे मत करो. सो दैट इज़ वाई आई आस्क दिस क्वेश्चन. सो दैट इज़ देयर.
Yeah. मतलब I think ये वाला question has stopped bothering me. मतलब I know this is going to come, so why bother when it's not in your control. You try your best, and of course the film has to work, तो फिर सब कुछ work करता है.
Right.
But 3 hours पे तो yes, red flag उठ ही जाते हैं. Yes, उठ ही जाएंगे ना 3 hours पे.
Right. But then again, I don't want to drag this, but then again, I feel that if the film or the story actually needs that much time, then maybe yes. Yes.
Yes, they let, if it works, if people are engaged, तो कोई कुछ नहीं कहेगा. It's also that it's a two-way process. If they are enjoying, everybody's enjoying, everybody will be okay with it. Everybody wants the film to work, but then it should not. मतलब yeah, मतलब it's a very catch-22 situation. If it is, yeah.
Right. That is there.
I hope you understand.
Yeah. I get it.
But it's not, you don't have like a correct answer to it, and I can't, like, I'm not the best speaker around who can explain it, but I can just tell you in a way, when you are in an edit room, and if something is not working, and the director or the producer is saying something, you might as well try cutting it. That's why we always say कि brutal cut कर लो, and it always helps. When you do a brutal cut, ना कई ऐसे excess चीजें होती हैं जो निकल जाती हैं जो आपको बड़ी important लग रही हैं. So I think वो सब ठीक है. अभी तक मैंने प्रेशर सहा नहीं है कभी ऐसा कि 3 घंटे को करो ही करो, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. बट या
okay. I want to ask you about something which you described in one of your conversations, that it is your love for VHS. So because the moment you described, I was reminded of the fact कि हम वो 10 रुपए की नोट लगा के कैसेट के अंदर, वो VCR के अंदर वो चलाते थे वैसे करके. So do you still have VHS? Do you still have any copies of VHS that you have just stored?
In fact, I had, and my mother on her Facebook just put it कि मतलब ये कोई ले जाओ, because मेरी हमारे यहाँ पे VCDs और VHS पड़े हुए थे, because in Delhi and we are just shifting houses, and it was there. Bombay you can't keep it. So I remember we had like Mr. India का red color का VHS, And my sister Mahima, she used to call it Mindia. And so yeah, I do. I think I might have VHSs in my house, in Delhi house. यहाँ नहीं है, but you know that feeling was amazing. मतलब have you ever sprayed a perfume inside the VCR वो head
नहीं,
clean करने के
उतना
लिए?
नहीं हो पाया।
हम तो ये सब
आ,
मैंने किया है, साफ वाफ करने मिट्टी भर जाती थी हम परफ्यूम मार के, because that was expensive, that डंडा वाला thing.
राइट राइट।
ट्रैकिंग ट्रैकिंग कर रहे हैं सब लोग, प्लस 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 माइनस माइनस। आई थिंक एडिटिंग वहां से भी आया है थोड़ा। उस समय भी हम लोग जब दूरदर्शन में फिल्म आती थी हम लोग रिकॉर्ड करते थे ताकि मम्मी पापा रात को ऑफिस से आके देखे, तो एड्स को हटा देते थे ना, तो पॉज और प्ले दबा देते थे और फिर प्ले करते थे जब वो एड जा रहा था। आई थिंक वहां से ही आया होगा शायद।
पॉसिबल पॉसिबल। यू आर फ्रॉम दिल्ली?
आई एम फ्रॉम दिल्ली।
ओके ओके। आई लिव इन अ सिटी जो अब अनफॉर्चुनेटली बॉलीवुड ने बहुत ख़राब कर दिया इसका नाम, इट्स कॉल्ड गाजियाबाद। सो
ओ
yes, so yeah, anyway, you have also worked as an AD on Lunchbox, so how was that experience, and was that your very first time working as an assistant director for a project?
No. So I had done editing from FTI, 1 year course, and I was working, and then I had a very bad experience, and I wouldn't name it, but I had a very bad experience in one of the films, and you know they were not paying money, and the rooms and the system was very bad. So I was like, I am working because I want to be happy. It's very clear in my life. I love films, and I love films because they make me happy. If this process is not making me happy, I don't want to be here. Like, I'm very clear. My happiness is very important. So while working on that film, I had seen, like, I had gone to London and I was seeing that script supervision there was done very, like, you know, I love stationery now. So they were using stationery pencils and they had a good, both. I said, why? I have editing background. I can understand script, you know, what the shots are. Yeah, so I should try, and I'll be on the set. So it'll be more fun. I'll be with people. You know, I was just, I think, 21, 22 that time. I said, yeah, ऐसा कोई करियर कुछ तो किया ही नहीं था ना, तो मतलब आई वाज लाइक ओके, एंड माय फादर ऑलवेज थॉट आई एम डूइंग अ हॉबी। दे वर वेरी सपोर्टिव, बट दे वर ऐसा मनी प्रेशर और ऑल वाज नॉट देयर। सो आई स्विच लाइंस एंड I was doing a film called Victory, and I think it really helped me.
Yes, Victory.
Harman
Yes,
Bawaja's film.
yes,
Yes,
wow, after such a long time, yeah.
yeah, and you know, in that film, I learned a lot. I was doing script supervision for that film, and there was like cricket matches. There were 4 cameras में shoot होते थे, ladder pods पे लगे होते थे 4 कैमरा, तो how to write? So I started drawing those bird eye views, and you know, so Balu Saluja sir was editing that film, and he really liked. He said, "Ki wow, matlab you are," and he was very happy with the thing, and I was allowed in the edit because I had an editing background, so I would sit and उसमें हम लोग करते थे, and there was an opportunity to go and shoot various forms of cricket in India. तो उसका opening montage I got a chance to shoot on a 535, and हम लोग पूरा blind cricket, नॉर्थ ईस्ट में क्रिकेट, ये सब अलग अलग टाइप के क्रिकेट हमने शूट किए फॉर दैट ओपनिंग montage.
Right.
And that happened, and so I thought this is fun and I should be doing it, and I was pretty clear that I want to be on set. It was just complete, my mind was off from editing. I said I don't want to be there, I don't want to be again in that situation, and stuff like that. And after some time passed, and I was doing like Commonwealth Games and stuff like that, and then I came back, and then I met Vasan through Guneet, who's my childhood friend.
Right.
And she said, my friend Vasan is making a film called Peddlers, and he wants you to edit it. I said, I haven't met Vasan. Why does he want me to edit, and what does he know about me? So I said, I will edit only if he makes me his associate director. So I want to be on set, because there was no money in that film. So everybody was just doing things because we were young and we wanted to do it, and you know. So Vasan said, "हाँ बन जाए associate director, क्या है?" So I became the associate director, and the good thing happened, I was seeing and I was living the rushes. So when I came on the edit table, and I think I was very bookish. I was from school, and मतलब ये ऐसे ही cut होना चाहिए, वैसे ही cut होना चाहिए, and वहाँ पे हमारी like footages was getting lost. 5-day footage wasn't there. There was like camera jumps. So I think Peddlers was my film school. I learned so much on Peddlers, and then we had a fight or something I had a fight with Vasan, and he said like there's a chase and you're not able to do it and stuff like that. I said okay, I'll show you. And then I said, what do you want? He said, I want water, I want chase, I want children, I want drums. I remember he said it like this. And then that, I don't know if you've seen
I
Peddlers.
have to. I could not, of course, like I'm in here, so I could not be in
So
Bombay.
that chase sequence
Yeah.
really brought Vasan's trust back in me, and I did that. And there was a romantic song. Those things, those two things I did, and then when those things, see in the film there has to be one scene that holds you, and उसके बाद पूरी पिक्चर ना बनती जाती है जब आप कनेक्ट आता है ना. So I think the water chase was the thing, and then we started rebuilding Peddlers. But Peddlers was the fastest edit. Like we finished in November, and in February it was in Cannes, like selected in Cannes. But we were working night and day. We were not employed. हमारे पास कुछ काम नहीं था, कुछ नहीं था. तो हम रात दिन edit करते रहते थे. And from there, Ritesh was an associate producer in Peddlers. So from there, I went on to Lunchbox, and I was also handling the post production and stuff. And then Vasan said that you are a great editor. I don't know how true that is, but he said that why are you going into direction when you can be editing? You've done one film which has gone to Cannes. What are you thinking? Like just होता ना, you are idealistic होते ना बचपन में, तो कुछ भी बोल सकते हैं, कुछ भी बोल रहे हैं. And he said why? I said no, I don't want to do edit, like हो गया. I just want to. But then when I was on set of Lunchbox, and when the rushes were going to somebody else, I wasn't feeling happy. I said I want to do it. And that's when Tigers happened. Uh, and it was with Danish Tanovich. What better director I could have asked for? Such a nice person, and that's how it happened.
Right.
So I'd left editing, and then I came back with Peddlers.
Right.
I was very clear I don't want to edit.
Okay. But trust me, it was a great decision. It was a great decision for sure that you are now an editor. Of course, I mean, I'm meeting you for the first time, so you might not believe in what I say, but I genuinely feel that.
I'm enjoying it, so it's good.
Okay.
I'm enjoying this process,
Right.
so that is the most important thing, and that is good.
Yeah.
I should be happy, and then yeah.
Do you ever want to get into directing a story?
I did try one short film, and I am very very sad that I could not finish it, because I think direction में कुछ और लगता है जो मेरे पास नहीं है. Like you really have to give your heart, soul, and one left arm, and then I think I missed something. I could not finish it, and I felt very bad. It's my biggest regret. I don't know when I'll finish it, but I will try. I will try once more. But I don't think so. I have what a director needs. But I could be wrong, because I thought I could not be an editor also. So you never know.
Right. Okay. Right now, like not too long ago, I saw these posts about posts from Antara Lahiri and Shweta Venkat Matthew about the kind of behavior that unfortunately editors have to face, especially when they are working. Like they mentioned about how they are not offered the best conditions, फूड, इवन फूड के लिए भी उनको कि आप हमें ज़्यादा वो नहीं दे रहे हैं, बजट नहीं दे रहे हैं, बिकॉज you are giving the best of the facilities and the food to the actors and everyone, but we editors who are actually quite literally making the film for you, we are unfortunately not getting that kind of a treatment that we deserve. We are not getting the dignity that we deserve. So in your experience, have you come across any of such moments? And
आज सुबह ही आज सुबह
okay.
So I was,
Wow. Okay.
I don't know. I don't know how to react to it.
Yeah, this was a hard cut. This was a hard cut, I must say. God.
But that's true. But in the morning only, like in the contracts, you're asking them to write ki, मतलब you should not be doing this ना, कि we need a clean, pleasant edit room, and contracts में लिखवा रहे हैं हम लोग कि मतलब you don't do that. Like some films they don't do it, but some production houses do it, and they feel bad also कि आप क्यों मांग रहे हो. But it's not us judging them, but it's just that we have burnt our fingers, we have burnt our hands, we have burnt ourselves. So we just wanted to be written ताकि आप करो मत. And even the food part, like I said, आप मेरा मत दो, it's okay. But the associate and the assistant are working day and night. Even if they are not working day and night, if there is a crew that is working, you provide food, na? So provide a dabba which is a decent dabba for the food आप अपनी तरफ से दो. It is important. Like I should not be saying dabba, it should be reimbursed, but ठीक है आपका budget है, whatever, it's fine. But provide a dabba. It's only fair. Then they say no, it's different. Why is it different? We are the same crew, same film पे काम कर रहे हैं. How come you supply food to one department? I'm not saying हम लोग पिक्चर बना रहे हैं, वो भी बना रहे हैं, सब पिक्चर बना रहे हैं, तो उनके साथ भी सेम करो, हमारे साथ भी सेम करो. It is that. It's as simple as that. And what is wrong in that? And why? And assistant editors and associates are not paid at par with what others are paid. अभी तो फिर भी हम लोग सब लड़के जो भी करके डिसेंट हो रहा है, बट फिर भी कई कई जगह कम होता है यार. सो बेसिक चीज खाना और ट्रांसपोर्टेशन आप दे दो, एटलीस्ट यू नो. Yeah, it is a case, but you know, surprisingly many people are agreeing to it. And I think because Antara and Shweta and Jabeen and Deepa Bhatia and all, Deepika Kalra and all Bakul, they all are raising voice because आज तक हमने बोला ही नहीं था ना. So now we are saying it, so it's happening. So I pretty much try that ki ho, and yeah, you get it done. But it is the case. It should not happen, but it is.
That is that mostly because of budgets, like they are the allocation of budget कि हम नहीं, हम editing के लिए तो इतना ही करेंगे, बाकी सारा हमारा इधर जाएगा.
I think हमारा time specific नहीं होता, maybe that's why. Because you know, if our clock goes higher, they don't really, doesn't matter to them. Like there's no shift. Maybe. So they will try and cut. They are all. You have to understand. They are also trying to cut cost. But then, by one person's food, क्या cost बचेगा? Because you end up expending so much on other things. Yeah. So yeah, it happens. It's true. And like it should not be a discussion, but it is a discussion. We have to spell it out now. So we all spell it out and हो जाता है. But वही एक difficult conversation you have to do. And
Right. Okay. Right. The last two questions and then we will call this a day. Yeah. So firstly, I just wanted to ask. Wait, I'm so sorry. I lost my questions. So sorry. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Yeah. So, like, what is something that one should never do as a film editor? Are there any cardinal rules कि नहीं ये आपको कभी नहीं करना है?
Never not look at the rushes. Like give anything you do, anything or anything, these are building blocks. आपको rushes के साथ time spend करना ही करना है. Like don't be like कि मैं किसी मतलब I'll join you later. ऐसा वाला नहीं होना चाहिए. You have to be a part of it. Till you know every expression, every take, every, तो you know that scene तो बन जाएगा. वो scene special. How do you make that scene special? Is when you know the rushes, when you know the expressions, when you understand कि वो एक कबूतर पीछे से एक जगह से उड़ा था टाइम पे, वो बनाएगी बात. वो जब साउंड में आएगा तो बात होगा. So never outguess the rushes. Always see them, and always well, read the script. I read it once, but I always read the scene that I'm editing multiple times before I start editing. But that is something that आपका है. कई लोग script बहुत बारी पढ़ते हैं. मैं वो scene in particular, what does maybe sometimes I've seen before and after also to understand, and so read that. And also अगर technical करें तो technical में है कि proper binning, proper labeling, proper sorting of your projects has to be done. Like be very methodical. It might take time, it might look foolish कि आप इतना क्या label कर रहे हो, but believe me, it helps. At the time, at the end, when सब कुछ haywire हो रहा होता है ना, तब आपके bins काम आते हैं. तब आपको पता चलता है कि what how important. It's a basic. मतलब हम लोग when you start a project in your school also, no, they teach you this, but we miss it. It is tedious, but do it. Have days alag, have scenes alag, and have labels. We इतने सारे fancy colorful labels हैं. Use them. Make it colorful. Put that effort. So yeah. So rushes though is number one. You have to. And you have to follow your directors. Never outguess the director. Be in sync. Try and be sync. Of course, give options, but directors are most vulnerable at edit stage because they are seeing their rushes. They know what is right, what is wrong. उनको पता है. And now they know. I also know it. So that's where you make them comfortable, and that's the place where you have to. Empathy plays a very important part. Yet being firm plays an important part. Balance is very important. So we have to protect the film. We have to protect the director. Not protect per se, but be there for them. So yes.
Right. And yeah, and like just we were just discussing about, and I gave you the example of After Sun, that the film took like 7 months. And sometimes I'm sure there are projects, not just projects that you do, but in general, editing projects that take a long time. और एडिटिंग ऐसी चीज़ है जिसको आप बड़े मतलब यू बड़े चाव से करते हो कि हाँ यार इसको अच्छा बनाते हैं, अच्छे से करते हैं ये वो. बट आई एम श्योर दैट एवरी क्रिएटिव फॉर एवरी क्रिएटिव प्रोजेक्ट देर इज़ वन पॉइंट वेर यू हैव टू लीव इट कि अच्छा हाँ डिटैचमेंट अब चाहिए कि यार अब नहीं, अब हो गया, अब आप ओवरडू कर देंगे और शायद जो एसेंस है वो भी चला जाए. सो कैन यू हेल्प in defining that detachment point in editing?
But it is different for different films. But detachment is important. So what I try and do is once edit lock happens, I don't enter the edit room for some time. Like it goes for sound, wound, everything. Until and unless, see, edit lock has happened that director is okay, producer is okay, everybody is okay. So they go to sound everywhere, and I sometimes go to sound, sometimes go to the DI and see it. Ki matlab whatever we were thinking, and if there's something. So edit lock ke baad I pretty much detach myself, and it is important because otherwise वो tweaks कभी खत्म ही नहीं होंगे. Like till the last moment when you're seeing the DCP or till the last moment. So you have to at one point say कि that flaw is the child's character. So just leave it. And sometimes it works in favor. So yeah, मतलब वो अलग-अलग लोगों का अलग-अलग detachment है. Some people stay continuously there in the sound, in music, but I detach myself because sound is a separate department where the sound person has to. But how will he make magic if I am there and saying नहीं मैंने cut इसलिए लगाया तो ऐसे ही करो. Of course, there are pointers I send, and he also or she also they read it and they respect that because it's there. But sometimes you have to give that space. It's a sound person's place. कर लो. DI में it's the DOP's thing. So मतलब, of course you can put in your word and put in your two thoughts, but it's finally their decision and the director's decision. So edit lock के बाद you should start detaching yourself, which is easy to do. मतलब if you make up your mind. Sound will not be same, the sound in points will be separate, but you have to also understand why the sound guy is doing it, the music guy is doing it. Once you understand that, then it will be great.
Right. Can I ask you just one more question? I actually wanted to ask this, वो miss out हो गया था थोड़ा सा. So and I think you have already answered this, that how do you, क्योंकि कभी कभी ऐसा होता है edits पे that you are trying to crack it कि यार ये हो नहीं रहा है सही से, the emotion is not coming out, the cuts are not happening, but suddenly you have a eureka moment, and then it is possible that the eureka moment has happened only for you, but the other person, चाहे वो director हो चाहे कोई भी stakeholder हो, that person might not be able to visualize it or see it from your perspective. But like you said that as an editor one should always at the end of the day be true to the vision of the director. So as an editor, like how can one strike a balance between not being too self-indulgent and also focusing on the director's vision?
This is a question I keep asking myself in the edit room only. But because you get attached, no, you've been seeing the rushes, so you know why this is happening, what is happening, and so it's a very tricky question. But like I told you, like every film has, like in Peddlers, that chase was the scene. It is important for you to get into. वो eureka moment उसके लिए हो या ना हो, वो तुम्हारे लिए है. First you get into that film, because every film starting से आप नहीं अंदर होगे, and give yourself that time. Don't be hard on yourself. Everything has to go at a certain speed. अभी मतलब वैसे ही वो लोग कट में ही फास्ट मांगने वाले, आप ही खुद फास्ट हो जाओगे तो no. Go slow, because the baby needs nurturing. It's like like filmmaking is like a phase where it's like romance and drama and all that stuff, and editing is labor pain where you deliver. So it is painful. Matlab, and with Marth, I literally felt it that way because Saiba was coming out and so was Marth. But yeah. but so what was the question again? How do I
Strike a balance between being not being too self-indulgent and also making sure that director's vision is met.
So that's why these tiffs happen, no? Because you are becoming self-indulgent, but you have to be self-aware also. Ki, bhai, this is something. It's Vasan's film, or it's Umesh sir's film, or it's Yashovardhan's film, or it's Aarti's film, it's Anubhuti's film. I can only go till this point. It has to be their choice because it's their vision. I can't. मतलब वो self awareness धीरे धीरे आता है और कभी कभी एक हफ्ते बाद आता है जब आप लड़ाई कर लेते हो, लेकिन आता है because वो आपको पता है that you are an editor and that person is director, and but you can always offer these cuts, always give these options. It should be their choice finally because आगे उनको ही लेके जानी है फिल्म. And ये बहुत correct question है. It does come in कि मतलब it's a very thin line, but I don't know how to answer. I don't know how to answer it. But this happens in every film where you suddenly you become too overprotective, but then you want to say things, but then you realize that your being overprotective is only hampering the further proceedings of the film. You know, like in 11 there was a 11 is a series on Z which I edited. So उसमें ना बहुत सारा front back और ये सब हो रहा था, and there are certain things that you want to hold on to, certain things you want to give out, certain times you want to hold back. So like there were certain things that I wanted to hold back, and I wanted like I मतलब then I बोलते ही गलत हो जाता है ना when you're making a film is for with everybody. So I wanted to hold back, and then I realized that sometimes there is comprehension issues and things like that. So you should not be doing it. Of course, आप पहला fight करते हो कि आप लड़ाई करते हो, I want to hold back and fight for a week and stuff like that. But eventually it should come out from your own head that you know ये लड़ाई ठीक नहीं है. Give in, try an option, do a feedback screening, and then have a discussion because discussion is the only way out. You have to discuss. If you win nahi, win is a wrong word. Win nahi. Either they understand it or you understand.